Yep, we're good.
Awesome. Good morning, you guys. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Melissa Galamay. I am the founder of Team Fierce, and I was asked this morning to talk to you guys a little bit about what I've done to be successful in building my business, as well as just share some tips with you guys that I think will help. So before we get started, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background on me. And the call started pretty much how things go, right? I dropped my cup of coffee all over my office. My daughter is now, she's almost 2, and she's standing beside me because she wants to get on the call with me. And I was almost late, okay? So the first thing I want to say is this business did not come easy to me. I didn't start out wanting to be a business builder, and I really didn't think that I could afford this business. I didn't think that I had the time to work this business, and those were all preconceived things that I told myself. So by a show of hands, how many of you guys feel like you just don't have enough hours in the day? Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. It is a struggle, right? I am a mom of 3 children. I started this business when I was working full-time for a small office, and I had just done a major transformation, or like relocating of jobs, from going from a big corporation to a little office where I thought I was going to have all this time and be able to really focus on my own health and fitness journey, get a discount, and raise my kids. Well, that kind of happened, but my job that I was supposed to go to 9 to 5 started, I would go in at 6 o'clock in the morning. I had somebody who was in the office who was not my boss that was really, really, really mean and made me feel like I was walking on eggshells. So I went from being the boss at a corporation to now working in this office where I was learning something completely new in a different field. But I didn't really care because I had more time with my family, which was exactly what I was craving. So how I got started, though, was I had seen my coach, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Diesel Nation, but that is the team that I belong to. And Mindy Horde is my coach, and she's one of the top leaders in that organization and is the founder of Team Relentless. But she kept showing up in my newsfeed. And so after 13 months of watching her and really craving the lifestyle that she had created and was showing me on social media, and I was seeing through Becky and Christina, I decided the same week that I started at this new job to take a leap and spend $140 and be my own, or get my discount on Shakeology. No intent to build this business. Again, I didn't have time. I had 2 kids. Both my boys were in school, sports year round. I just didn't have the time. Well, 3 months into my journey, I was kind of dabbling with it a little bit. I got pregnant with my 3rd child unexpectedly. And when I say unexpectedly, we had the IUD. So we had no intentions of having a 3rd child. And it was really hard, and there was a lot of tears because I didn't want to have to send another baby to daycare. How many of you guys have to send your kids to daycare? So basically everyone on the call is home full time. Okay. For me, I wasn't home full time. I worked a full-time job, and my kids, like I said, were in full-time sports, and I was sick and tired of sending my kids to daycare. Literally, it ate me up with guilt. I didn't know if I was ever going to get out of that cycle, because the reality that I told myself was that I was going to work for somebody else for 40 years and retire. And that's just kind of how it was. Well, because of this opportunity, that all changed for me. So 3 months in, I become pregnant. My coach didn't know if I was going to stick around or not. I was barely a baby diamond that literally fell in and out of rank. So I would go from diamond to ruby to emerald to coach or whatever. And it wasn't until I went to my first event with Leslie, who's on the call here. We drove 14 hours to Las Vegas and got to Summit that I really started looking at this business for really what it was and the opportunity. And I heard from moms who were just like you and I, who were struggling to put food on the table, who were having to tell their kids whether or not they would be able to buy bananas or strawberries that week based on the income that they were bringing in, and how their lives had completely transformed. And I listened to Lindsay Matley up there and saw her crowned as the top coach that year, and just kept thinking to myself, like, this has to be like fake. Like, I just don't understand how these people get there, but if there's a way, I'm going to figure it out. So that next year I put my head down and I focused, and last year we ended the year as an elite team. I was able to walk away from my full-time job after 15 months and come home to my daughter and my boys. My daughter was 6 months at that time because I was sick and tired of going to work for somebody else. So many people ask me how I was able to leave my job and how I was able to do that. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of things there, but I'm really going to dive into what happens now at home. So first thing is if you're not crystal clear, guys, with your why, you have to change that. If you don't have a reason that's pushing you, and maybe it's not, a lot of people get confused because they say, I don't have a why that makes me cry. Well, I'm gonna put my money on it and guess that for most of you guys, you do, because those babies that you're holding in your hands there, Ash, and I'm sure all of you, looks like Alexis, I don't know if you're eating. I was gonna say, I don't know if you're feeding your baby, but literally my kids were the driving force every single time that I wanted to quit. I remember that feeling of not wanting to have to send my kids to daycare. And I remembered the guilt of when I had to go back to work after maternity leave. And so I'm going to say again, if you're not crystal clear on your why, guys, today is the day that you sit down and you write out why you're doing this business. The other thing is I showed up every single day. It didn't matter what happened in life, whether my kids were sick. I was documenting that on social media, not to get sympathy, but to show other people that I had kids, I was working full time, and I was also building this business from home. I wanted to offer people hope. And in today, especially in your newsfeed, if you're not out there sharing hope and offering it to people, I encourage you to do that. Because this business helped me believe in myself again. It helped me find myself, and it brought me home to this little girl and my 2 boys that are at school. I made a power hour. So that means, how many of you guys have a power hour that you use? Ash does. Alexis. Okay. So if you don't have a power hour, guys, I suggest that you create one, and maybe you can talk to your upline, or you can go on Pinterest. Like, literally, when I started this business, and still, Google was my best friend. Like, you have to be so well educated in this business if you want to be successful and you want to teach others, but also teach them how to go out and find information. So I didn't wait for my coach to message me and ask me if I was at Success Club, or I didn't make excuses when my kids were sick. Like, I showed up every day, no matter what. I shared the struggles of building this business, working full time, and wanting to be home for my kids. I set a vision for myself, and I shared that. So how many of you guys have cast your vision and shared that with your spouse, your team? Are you guys okay? If you haven't, I want you guys to do that as well. Because if people don't know what they're working towards, or what your vision is, they're not going to want to work with you, and they're not going to understand it. How many of you guys have a spouse that, I'm going to cuss, sorry, earmuffs. Never mind, there's kids on there. BS it, or like is so enraged that you're on your phone a lot because you're building this business. Okay, see some hands going up. Guys, the best thing that I ever did was I sat down and I created goals and included my husband in them. I got my husband to Summit. It wasn't until I got to Summit that he stopped giving me those guilt trips. It wasn't until he really saw the potential in this business and he got to see what could happen that he really had that buy-in. So if you have not shared that vision with your spouse and you guys are still struggling with that, I highly recommend that you do that. let them know that you're going to have to make sacrifices. So for me in my house, one of the things that we struggled with the most was my husband, he loved like watching shows together. How many of you guys have certain shows that you guys all watch with your spouses? So my husband started getting super frustrated that I was, saying, you know what, I have a team call tonight, or I'm going to do my power hour. Those were sacrifices that I had to make because I wanted to get home to my kids. And now that I'm home with them and I fought for that freedom, I have what I kind of have business hours, but you want to set business hours so that like when your spouse is home, you're not constantly on your phone, right? You want them to know what's going on in your business, but not it be the only thing you're focused on. Because I know for months and months and months, as soon as my husband was walking through the door, I was throwing the kids at them because I was exhausted, that I had been home with them all day long. I had things to catch up on, and it was frustrating on both ends. I felt like he needed to help me pick up that slack, but also I deserved that time. So make sure that your husband, like, I'll show you really quick. Hold on. Actually, Jenny, my success partner, is on the call, and she did this. So we have a calendar here in my kitchen, and this is something that I took from her, and I started writing, because before my calendar was in my office and only I saw it, but now it's in my kitchen where my kids can see it, my husband can see it, and if I have a call going on at night, they're not surprised because they already know what's up there. So I highly recommend getting a schedule up and putting it in your kitchen so your family knows what to expect from you. Going back to the making sacrifices, if you're struggling and you feel guilty because you feel like I'm taking time away from my children when I should be focusing on them, you really need to get up earlier. And so many people struggle with this, and they're like, I'm so tired, I'm losing sleep. Guess what? I see a lot of babies on this call, and I know most of us are. Our kids get sick. Things happen. Last night I was up until like 11:30 waiting to get the results for the presidential debate. That was totally my thing. But then my daughter was up 3 different times, and I still had to get up at 5 o'clock because I had a training to do that I committed to for my business. So you have to be willing to make those sacrifices, guys. How many of you guys wake up before your kids to get your work done? Ash, do you have 3 kids? Okay. I'm like, I just seen 2 toddlers and now a baby. And at any point you guys have questions, please feel free to unmute you. I want this call to be beneficial for you. I don't want this to be just me sitting here talking at you. So if there's specific things that you would like me to address, please, please, please don't hesitate to unmute yourself. In the chat, will you guys all just put how many kids you have and how old they are? I think there's something from Wesley in here.
Yeah. Mom.
Yeah, totally.
Mom.
The other thing is, guys, people really are like, what is the secret to being successful? And when April and I talked, she's going to be a new mom, so you guys all can relate to what she's about to go to, right? She's going to be a first-time mom. She is going to understand a little bit more that there is going to be less time to focus on your business, and when the baby is up all night screaming, the last thing that you want to do is get up and do your workout or do your power hour and things like that. So as a team, you guys can really help support her in that, and I have no doubt in my mind that you guys probably already do this. But she at this point can't relate to you, right? Because she hasn't been a mom yet. So share your best practices and tips to help her be successful in building this business. What is the number one thing, and you guys can unmute yourselves, what is the number one thing that you feel like you struggle as a mom at home with kids to get your business done?
Mom.
I procrastinate big time. and I take care of other stuff instead of, I probably should read that book, Eat That Frog, right?
Yeah, totally. So procrastination, how many of you guys can relate to Shay on procrastinating? By a show of hands. How many of you guys make lists and want just that gratification of checking a box off? Jenny, Lori, apparently Jenna. Okay, so I am not a list maker. I'm becoming a list maker because I do see the value in staying organized in that way. But I will give you my number one tip of advice. Just do it. Just freaking do it. Because unlike other businesses, there's nobody here that is going to say, hey, Brooke, did you get your power hour done? Hey, Brooke. They might be like, hey, Brooke, how come you're not at Success Club yet? But how annoying is that? You're not my boss. Why are you checking in with me? You have to make it a point to do it. If there's something that you want out of this business, you have to fight for it every single day. You can't take time off. If somebody, I'm going to get really real with you guys. If there's somebody in your family who passed away, I feel for people in that area. I have people, my dad's really sick right now. I still have to get up and do my business. Life still has to move on. Lean on your team for those, right? Leslie just said, find someone that pushes you. Find a success partner. Jenny and I have a call every Tuesday, and if we can't do a call, we do text. Success partners are so critical. And make sure it's somebody who can relate to you, right? Because you don't want to go get a success partner or somebody, you guys are stay-at-home moms with multiple children, right? You want to find somebody who's going to relate to you, because you can't go out and find somebody who's going to be working on Wall Street and has 0 kids. You want to know someone who's in the trenches with you, and be vulnerable. Ask them, what are you doing to be successful? Success leaves clues. My number one thing when I was growing my business, and still to this day too, beyond Google, was going to YouTube and typing in videos of different trainings. And I would see how people create schedules. Melanie Mitro is somebody who is so organized and will tell you exactly what to do. She will tell you how to build a successful business. She's the number one coach in our network for a reason, guys. If you're not following some of the tips that she gives, and I think she does a Tuesday business tip thing, and she uploads it to her YouTube as well. And I don't catch them every Tuesday, but they are beneficial. Go out and figure out something that's going to help you find that motivation. Because for me, no one is going to push me harder than myself, right? And the fear and thought of knowing that if I don't make this work, that I would have to go back to work for somebody else and give up the freedom that I fought so hard for, to be home with a little girl that needs her diaper changed and has crazy hair. Like, that's what I came home for. And that's what I want to remind you guys every single time when you don't want to do your power hour, when you don't want to press play, when you don't want to do that invite. You are the only person that can make this happen. There's not a single call that you're going to get on that somebody is going to make you do anything. All we can do is give you the tips and help inspire you to get there. But there's not anything different than you guys than there is in me, in April, in Jenny, and Melanie Mitro. You have to cast a vision for your life and then fight for it every single day. Like, figure out if your power hour that you're using now doesn't work, figure it out. You don't have to do that power hour in 1 hour. How many of you guys work in pockets? Like, I work in pockets because I have 3 children, right? Sometimes things don't go as planned. But I always make sure that I'm doing my follow-ups. I'm building relationships and starting conversations. I make my calendar. It's not perfect in my house, but it works. I can't come on here and tell you all these spreadsheets or all these things that'll make you work, because that's not what helped me build my business. What helped me build my business was looking at the 3 of my children and fighting for what I wanted and sharing my journey along the way. If you're embarrassed or afraid to share your journey, that's going to hold you back every time. You have to be able to share those ugly truths. start doing something like Tuesday tips or how to meal plan Sundays, things like that. Things that will attract people to your business page or to your page. If you are building a like page, I would definitely look into trainings like Jesse Reagan. He is really amazing and can help you. But for me as a mom, relating to you guys, I just share what's going on in my house, right? I share the good, the bad, the ugly. I share our successes and our failures. I ask other people advice. At least 3 times a week, I'm going onto my page and I'm asking other people for their opinion. So yesterday, I think I made a post on what's the number one thing in your chore list that makes you feel defeated for health chores. Guys, in like 2 hours, I had like over almost 100 comments. People want to be engaged in what you're talking about, so give them the ability to do that. The other thing is, there's another girl who she posted, what kind of diapers do you use? She's been a mom 2 times now and has like an 8-month or 6 or 8-month-old. She really didn't need that advice, right? She just did it to create engagement on her page. So start making those consistent things on your newsfeed that people can count on. And my advice for you guys today is stay out of the negative zone. Today, America needs hope. They don't need your or my opinion of our new president. They need to know that there's going to be somebody who brings them a smile. So yesterday, I stayed off social media a lot. And then in the evening, I shared things that, like I shared a picture of my daughter, and I just went to Boomerang, which if you guys don't have Boomerang, you should download it because it's totally fun, but it speeds up your videos super fast. And my daughter had went number 2 in the toilet, and she was like dancing, and I posted it on social media. Like, I wanted to make people smile. Yep, see, dancing. Good job, Jenna. This morning, as soon as I got into my newsfeed, it was like negative. Yeah. And the first thing I did was I offered encouragement and hope. I didn't push my opinions on others. I didn't try to go do anything like that, but I made a positive post to let people know that we're in control of our lives. And no matter who's in office, we have control of what happens with us today. And our children are our future, right? Hey, hold on. And now my daughter's eating earrings. Yeah, so share those types of things. Share, what else? Shay said that she struggles with time management, power hour, figuring out some sort of schedule, getting away from just making lists to make lists and actually doing them. What else, guys?
Baby.
There is a baby on there.
Sharing my story.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about that.
I just struggle with showing my flaws and being vulnerable, or maybe my story has an opinion with it and someone disagreeing with it.
No.
So I struggle with that daily, but when I put myself out there, it feels really good after, and then you grow from that, and that feels really good. But I do every day struggle with sharing my story. I actually had my 2 years on November 1st, and I didn't even share anything. And I'm struggling with it. I did not share anything, and I'm still going to, but I'm struggling with what to share. So I'm disappointed on where I'm at my journey, but I don't know.
So I heard a couple of things, and anyone that wants to chime in and maybe help Shay with what she's struggling with and how you share, please do. My personal opinion is more personal development on believing in yourself, because once you develop that confidence, you also, that comes with it is it doesn't matter what other people think of you, right? Believe me, there's things that I share all the time that I'm like, okay, I live in a tiny little town. The moms at pickup are probably going to chat about me. Like, but it's okay. I have to share those things because it's my story and my journey. And if you're not comfortable in sharing that, definitely it's not just reading the personal development, but implementing it. Because all of us can put on Audible and walk around our house and do laundry and be like, oh yeah, that was a great call, or jump on the national wake-up call and be inspired by somebody else's story. But you have the ability to take that control of your story and rewrite it at any moment. But if you don't share with people what you're doing and how it's impacted your life in a positive way, how can they support you? You know what I mean? And in my honest opinion, we're doing a disservice if we're keeping other people's destinies trapped in our mouth.
And 9 times out of 10, someone's struggling with the same thing you're struggling with, so they hear it from you, they can relate to you. They want to be you relatable. So, sorry.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like in a business, we're all business owners, and it's like that entrepreneurial roller coaster that we've all missed goals. And that no matter, hi, Miss Jenna, and that no matter how long, each one of us have been in this business, we all feel like, oh, if I would have done this, I could be here. So I feel like every single person can feel that way. And I've had the roughest year of my life, and if I choose to quit, then that was on me, and I couldn't do that for myself or my family. And there are still things that I don't share. There are things that everybody don't share, but know that we're all a team. And when you put yourself out there, go on the team page. We aren't on social media. I mean, we don't post, hey guys, like, go on my page and comment on my post, and more people will see it and more people will be inspired by it. You have an amazing story, Shay, and you need to share it.
How many of you guys, by a show of hands, are posting at least 3 to 5 times per day, and it's mostly about Beachbody? Okay, good. I think it's so important that we weave in Beachbody into our lives, but Beachbody is not our only, the only thing that we do, right? Who were you before Beachbody? Continue to share those things, because that's what drew the people to you. And now that I have 3,500 friends, I connect with people on a regular basis because I share so much about my kids. And us as moms, we have such a strong bond and community of people that we can reach out to and ask for advice on anything, right? We have this great platform of social media that will help us be successful, so use it. And if it's just asking a simple question like, in the local area, who's the pediatrician that you recommend? That will create so much engagement. And as far as finding a success partner, I saw that somebody had asked who needs an accountability partner. What I would do is go into your team pages and your upline pages and your sister team pages, and I would put out who you are, what your beliefs are, what your goals are, how many children you have, and how much time you dedicate to your business. And that's going to help you find somebody. Jenny and I did an actual form where we filled it all out, and I can share that for you guys if you want. We filled it out to make sure that we were going to be a good fit together, because even though we come from the same upline team, we didn't know each other. No. We both come from Diesel Nation, but we didn't know if our goals were going to align. And so we're like, well, let's try it out. And I actually have 2 other people that I work with on a regular basis. So you don't have to just have one success partner. And I get something different from all of them. Jenny, you're home full-time. Yes, I will post that, Naomi. You're home full-time. Talk to us a little bit about what the structure of your day looks like and how you make it work.
Hi guys, how are you? Well, I still struggle with structure myself because I tend to get overwhelmed easily. So I am a list maker, but I find myself that I work best when I go through and literally plan out my day from start to finish, because on the days that I don't, I find myself focusing too much on everything else in the house, because I'm like, I gotta do the laundry, I gotta do it. So that stuff is important, but I have to make sure that from this time to this time, I'm actually doing my power hour. From this time to this time, I'm actually doing my workout. From this time to this time, I'm eating. And for me, I'm the most productive when I get up when I say I'm going to get up, and I do everything according to a time frame. Because on the days that I like make this long list, I look at the list and I get like, oh my God, I have 20 things on the list and I'm getting like 3 of them done, and then I feel like a failure because, you know, some days my house is clean and my business fails. Some days my business is great and then the house looks like crap. So it's like a balance. But I find myself the most productive days, and I've actually made a schedule. I'll show you really quick. This looks really complicated, but I made this. I'm a spreadsheet person. I was an accountant. So I literally made a schedule, and that's for my afternoons from when the kids come home to where we go to sports. And then I have a different one. This is for all of them to see. And then during the day, I have to set my days. And every day is different, so it takes a little bit of time, but maybe do it day by day. And for me, that makes me the most productive. And at least I feel like I've accomplished and done what I needed to get done for the day. So, and don't beat yourself up. Like I find myself doing that a lot. I'm like, so if you make too long of a list and you get overwhelmed like me, shorten it and do what you think you can actually get done. So you feel like you're actually productive for the day, you know?
Yeah, and on that list, guys, make sure that you're going through and you're doing it 1 through 10. So say you have 10 items, I would put a 1 next to the most important thing and make sure that you're focusing on that. And if that one, Shay had mentioned the book, Eat That Frog. If you haven't read it, it's a great book. But if the one most important thing on your list is sending out those invites, dude, send out the invites first. Because if you go through that whole list and you're like, well, I got 9 things out of 10 done, and the one thing you didn't get done was your inviting, I can promise you, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to feel fulfilled in this business. If you don't have Success Club 5 every single month, I'm going to be brutally honest with you, you don't have a business. So every single person on this call, I want you guys to take a hard look at your business and see the activities that you're doing every single day. Are you busy or are you productive? Because we're all moms and we all can be busy, right? I have 3 kids. I'll show you right now. I have dishes in the sink that I have to get done. I've already swept floors. I've already started laundry. I'm packing for Tony Robbins that I leave in 2 days. I was preparing for this call, and I started out and I was going to do this big, huge structured call, but I'm like, you know what? These are just moms just like me. Why am I going to go through here and try to create something that may or may not work for them? I'm just going to give them my best advice for what works for me. And it's be okay with where you're at. And as long as you're showing up and giving your all and getting the necessities of the business done, and your children are happy and you're home and present, like, be okay with that. Know that you're enough. You can build your dreams and be home with your babies. I didn't ever think that was possible. And if it wasn't for Beachbody, that wouldn't have been. Today, I wouldn't be on this call with you guys. I'd be at the office working for somebody else. I fought my ass off for this business to be home with my children. And I want you guys all to do that too. Stop making excuses. Everybody's busy. Everybody's busy. And you know what? If you decide that you can only work your business 3 days a week, work it 3 days a week and kill it. And dedicate the rest of the time to the other areas of your life. For me, I dedicate 2 to 3 solid hours a day, broken up into pockets, of building this business, because I don't ever want to go back and have to drop my kids off to anybody else at daycare. I just don't. I want to be home for my kids, and I know that you guys do too. And a lot of you guys did not raise your hands because you don't work a full-time job. And I'm assuming that you didn't walk away from a full-time job to do this. So maybe a lot of you started as full-time moms. Me, I did work a full-time job, so I remember what that was like. And I want you to write down your why and revisit that. Remember what it was like. Or think of the things you don't want. Think of the things that don't bring you joy. Get very clear on your vision. Do the daily activities every single day and stop making excuses. And if you don't, congratulations. You are one of the many people in the world, or the few people in the world, who don't make excuses to be successful. Because so many times in life, people have an excuse for everything. And I can tell you, I've been one of them. But when I decided that I wanted to be home for my kids, I made it a reality and I made it happen. And maybe not everything gets done in the time frame that I want it to, and that's okay. And I have to just be okay with that. Because tomorrow's a new day, and I can choose to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning before my kids get up and focus on work and peace and quiet. Because 90% of the time, that's all I just need like 5 minutes. But if I carve out 5 minutes before anyone else is going to bother me, I shouldn't say bother me because there are kids, but you know what I mean? Like where I have 5 minutes of uninterrupted so that I can connect with a challenger or a coach on my team or send out an invite, I make that time. And I want you guys to make that time too. We can sleep later. So, okay. I think the time's going to cut out because mine is only the 30 minutes, but does anyone have any questions? And I will upload that form into the event page as well. And if you guys want to see a copy of Jenny's schedule, I'm sure she'd be willing to share that as well in there.
Hi, Melissa. I just got home. I'm sorry.
Hey.
I am so excited. I sound very passionate when I just hopped on those. So I'm excited to listen back. So yeah, I think we only have it says 40 minutes and you have 45 minutes total.
I don't know, whatever the free sign up is.
Yeah, I think it's 45 minutes. So
Less than a minute left.
Oh, just kidding. I was going to say short time. So, okay, well, yeah, we will share this. And if you guys have any questions for her, just let us know in the event and she can answer there.
Yeah, and April, I'll just let you know, I told them I started out, I was going to do this big structured call where I gave them all these different things to do. But then I got on and I'm like, you know what, we're all moms and we're very limited for time. And I shared a little bit about just how you just make that happen. Excuses, everyone has them, and you have to fight for what you want. And the other thing that I encouraged everyone on this call to do is offer hope in their newsfeed, because today more than ever, people need hope. And we have the ability to help people mind, body, spirit, emotionally, financially, in all different areas of their life to take control.